Your credit profile is the single most important asset you have today. And I say asset because if you know how to use it properly, you can literally control your own destiny. In this session, I'm going to reveal industry secrets that banks don't want you to know. You're going to discover the main factors of your credit file that drive high limit bank approvals. We're going to talk about what banks look at, how your score actually plays a very small role in your approvals these days, and how to fix your entire credit profile so banks are dying to give you cash. There's no money anymore, so that makes credit the true currency. And when you're the master of your financial profile, banks will lend you money at any time, even in a recession. So think about it. Name one large purchase that you can make today not using cash without someone checking your credit. Exactly. They check credit for everything. To get a house, to get a car, to get insurance. They even do credit checks to get a job. Like, employers will literally not hire you if your credit's too bad. And why? They see you as a potential risk for stealing company assets or cash. You cannot survive without great credit these days. And in the future, your credit will need to be perfect to even be considered for large purchases. And fixing your credit free of all negative items can be one of the most frustrating processes you go through if it's not done right. It becomes super consuming. The process itself without the proper guidance is immensely challenging and it's slow. And I'll explain later how we can expedite that process, but do it all for you in record time. It's important to remember that you didn't get into this situation overnight, and you won't get out of it overnight either. So stay patient, stay committed, stay disciplined, and you'll make it out faster than you think. So let's talk about how you can create the perfect credit file and never have to worry about bad credit again. So the first factor is you can't have absolutely no negatives on your credit file, nothing at all. Okay, now what I mean is no collections, no charge-offs, no late payments, no bankruptcies, no foreclosures, anything that's potentially negative you cannot have. And this is not as easily to spot if you haven't seen your credit profile recently, right? So I would highly suggest getting online and reviewing this, and it will tell you, the software would generally tell you if you have anything negative, but no negatives. There are some contradictions to this online where they say, well, if your late payment is over 2 years, then you can, apply with a bank and they'll still approve you. Well, yeah, they will still approve you, generally speaking, if it's years old, especially with a late payment or two, but the credit limits will be lower. So the idea behind this is to come right out of the gate with high credit limits. And in order to do that, you can have no negative items, I don't care if it's 4 or 5 years old, on your credit files, okay? And that's Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Those are the 3 major credit bureaus. You cannot have anything negative on those, so be sure to check that out. So number 2 would be low utilization. Okay, this is the next thing the banks look for. And what I mean by this is, let's say you have one $10,000 credit card. For demonstration purposes, we're going to use even numbers. Okay, so you have a $10,000 credit card. What the bank is looking for is that no more than 30% of that credit card is charged up. So in this case, you would be at $3,000, right? So the bank is looking at this $10,000 credit card, and if you have more than $3,000 charged on it, it's not going to fly with them. It'll likely maybe not produce an automatic denial, but again, your credit limit will be lower. Okay, ideally, you want to see 10%, which would, in this example, would be $1,000 from a $10,000 credit card. Okay, so low utilization, anything below 30% is good. The next one is credit age. This is what the bank looks at as far as how new your accounts actually are. So if you just got 2 to 3 credit cards and they're 2 or 3 months old, that's not necessarily going to be a good thing in the bank's eyes. And if they don't deny you, again, you're going to be faced with low credit limits. The credit ages to maximize your fundability is going to be generally 6 to 12 months or longer, because they want to see that you've made consistent payments along the way and that you're capable of actually paying money back. Okay, so the 4th one is your credit mix. The credit mix is not as much required as the previous 3, but it will, ideally, if you've got this down, it will increase your limits to start with. If you don't have this down, you can still get high limits, but the credit mix is you really want to try this. So when you have your credit mix, it's revolving accounts versus installment accounts. Now, what are these? So revolving accounts are things like credit cards, okay? Any unsecured credit is called a revolving account. The most popular revolving account is a credit card, okay? An installment loan is gonna be things like that are backed by collateral, like your house. That loan is backed by your house, okay? The car, your auto loan is backed by your actual vehicle. Personal loans are generally backed by collateral. So these are called installment loans, and you need a good mix of revolving and installment loans. Generally 3 to 5 accounts total on your credit file need to make up this right mix. Now, if you just have 3 revolving accounts or 4 revolving accounts and no installments, then, it's not gonna be the end of the world. They're still gonna generally approve you. And if you have, more installments than revolving, they're still probably gonna approve you. It's just, again, lower limits. So this is factor 4. So those are the main factors that let you fall into the category that banks call lendable. Another item you'll want to pay attention to before you're applying for anything are the number of inquiries you have on each credit report. The rule of thumb here is no more than 2 inquiries in the last 6 months. Now, here's the thing about inquiries. Personal inquiries and business inquiries are 2 different things, okay? So if you apply for, let's say, 2 personal credit cards, right? And try to stay with me here because this is gonna sound confusing, but it's not as confusing when we break it down. So you apply for 2 personal credit cards, not business credit cards, personal credit cards, okay? They're gonna put inquiries on your report. Now, banks do not like to see more than 2 inquiries in the last 6 months. Now, here's the thing about personal inquiries. When you apply for personal credit cards and that inquiry, if you get approved, that inquiry is there, which means if you try to remove that inquiry thinking you're gonna apply for more cards, then they're gonna probably close that credit account that they just approved you for, okay? So that's a big no-no. Anytime you apply for any credit cards that you get approved for that are on the personal side, you cannot remove those inquiries, which that means that if you just applied for 2 credit cards and you got them both, no matter what the credit limit is, you're gonna have to wait 6 months before applying for anything else because the banks are just not gonna approve you for that reason alone. Now, business credit cards are different. They're still gonna use your personal credit to give you the business card, but they're gonna put an inquiry on your report. So let me give you an example. If you apply for a business credit card, let's say the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited business credit card, and you get $20,000, and that inquiry is going to go on your personal credit. But because it's a business inquiry, you can now remove that inquiry and you still have your 2 fresh inquiries every 6 months because they're gone, and you can keep applying for more cards, okay? So in summary, personal credit cards will cost you. You have to wait a lot of time and you cannot remove those inquiries when you get approved. Business credit cards, you can remove those inquiries even if you do get approved. The last item that needs to be factored in is your credit score. So why do I check this last? Like, shouldn't it be the most important? I used to think so, but not anymore, and it used to be. Many years ago, if you had a score over 700, you could get anything you wanted. These days, a good credit score just gets you in the door, and that score typically needs to be 720 or above on all 3 bureaus to even be taken seriously. I don't care what you hear, what you read. If your goal is high credit limits to scale your business and lower interest rates, a 720 or above is the minimum requirement. So then the question becomes, if my score just gets me in the door, what do they look at next? So what they generally look at is when you get into the door, they're gonna go, do they have any negative items on their credit report? If the answer is yes, you're gone. It's an automatic denial. If the answer is no, then they're gonna move on to say, okay, they have a good score, they don't have any negatives. Now let's look at their utilization. If your utilization is low, you're moving on. If your utilization is high, they're gonna probably likely deny you. Okay, if it is low, then you're gonna move on to credit age. Like, are you brand new, like a teenager or a 21-year-old with no credit? Or do you have established credit aged over the years, right? And if you do, you're likely to get a higher limit. If you don't, it's not necessarily going to enforce a denial, but your limits are gonna be lower. And then they are gonna look at your credit mix last, but if the other 4, honestly, they range up and they're good, they're gonna probably ignore credit mix when it comes down to everything. If you fall in line with everything we just talked about, no negatives, no inquiries, low utilization, all that, then the process of getting high credit approvals is right around the corner for you. If your file isn't there yet, don't panic, you're not alone. 8 out of 10 people around you are in the same boat you're in right now. Most people actually have less than perfect credit. Now we can help you fix that faster than anyone in the country, or if you want someone who can do it and that works too, whatever you need to do. But once you fix your file, there'll be no stopping you. So now we're putting all this together. There's just one more piece of the information we need to talk about. That's the personal information and how it's displayed on your credit profile. The last thing you want to consider on your credit profiles are your addresses and personal information. Now, most people don't consider this and they don't think it's a big deal. But in fact, banks look at it, and if you have 5 or 6 or 7 past addresses that are listed on your credit report, that is a red flag to them. That tells them that you move around a lot and that you may skip out if you have credit problems or you can't pay your bills. So what you want to do here is you want to eliminate all of the addresses except for your most recent address and go with that. And then you want to have your phone number that's on there as well. Okay, and those two things alone are going to be a key factor, believe it or not, in approvals. You need your phone number on there and you need your most recent address, and it only needs to be one address. If you have 5 or 10 of them, get rid of all of those. Okay, you only need the one. That's going to make it look more secure for banks. I'll also talk about how to apply in the next video when I go over your low-risk business setup. By now, you should have a much greater understanding of the demands your credit profile requires in order to get high credit limits with banks. I'll talk about how to apply in the next video when I go over your low-risk business setup. Before I let you go, what I'm about to tell you next is the most important part of this video. Right now, you're probably thinking you have to stop this class and go work on your credit, right? Don't do that. You're gonna probably have strong feelings that you just can't move on without having your credit fixed first. Not true at all. Hey, the next video plays a crucial role in making all of this work for you, so don't skip it. If you want help with your credit or you don't know where to start, there's a form on this page. Fill it out and someone will go over everything with you to fix your unique situation. I think on the form there's a checkbox next to the form. Make sure you check it so we know you want to talk about credit. So a small disclaimer, this is a conversation, not a sales call. At the end of the call, if we determine we can help you fast and you feel like you want our help, then we'll help. No pressure at all. If you decide you don't want our help, hey, that's fine too. Just let us know that you prefer to do it yourself. Either way, don't miss the next video. You also want to grab the expansion packs on this page. These are great resources and will help you get to where you want to go much faster. Okay, give me about a day or so while I triple check the business video just to make sure everything is all there for you. I'll see you soon.